Leo, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your October forecast. And one of the challenges that I see for you is that the energies that rule you, all of your personal planets, the majority of them are going to be moving into your second and third house. So the third house right now is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is in retrograde. So for you, how you communicate what you want deep down, and just in general how you think and communicate is in a state of transformation. It's in a state of reflection. It's still tied somewhat to the past. So there can be a little bit of challenge in that. And this stems from energy that was happening back in September. So I do want to start out with that because I did see that as being something that energetically caused a little bit of a conflict. You're taking opportunities that are comfortable for you. There is a lot. You're trying to decipher all of them. And so I think there's a point of reflection. With Mercury in retrograde, it's super hard until about the 12th for you to understand what opportunity to choose or how you even go about changing your outcome. And so I think there's a point. I still think that you're at a point of reflection, and this is a good time for you, because sometimes always moving headstrong and moving forward, you miss some of the bigger opportunities. And so during this point when Mercury is in retrograde, I think for some of you, you may go through a point of trying to find balance in wanting to persevere and wanting to move forward, but being in a reflective state. That's hard. That's hard for a Leo because they're all about passion, they're all about moving forward, and they're all about ambition, and they're all about ego. And it's super hard to want to move forward when there is some ties to the past that we still need to learn from, and we need to elevate our thinking, and we need to bring forward into the present. The Sun and Mercury are going to be in Libra in the third house, and again, this is going to be a really weird bipolar month. So until about the 12th, I really think that you're going to be reflective. You're going to be your thinking is going to be highly elevated. You're going to be weighing out your emotions versus what you feel your purpose or your life path destiny is. You feel like you need more knowledge in how to move forward, but there is a sense of you not getting exactly the knowledge that you need. There's a sense of patience, which can be very difficult when you are an impatient creature by nature and you are pride-based, and Mars is really elevating what you want. So I think, although you have had a highly introspective month, I still think there's that need to want to push for temporary ego-based soothing things to keep you. I mean, when you get really reflective, it kind of dampens your sun, and so for you, this could mean that you just, when your sun get dampened, or when you go into a reflective state, I think that's when you can find some of your best ideas. Don't let that hinder the fact that you aren't moving forward. It does make you more combative. I want you to be more spiritual and see the bigger picture and the energies, especially when we're talking about until about the 12th. Don't get caught up in why people are questioning you or questioning the way you think, or maybe you don't understand the way you think, so it's causing you to have some pride-based, ego-based issues, and you're not really knowing how to move forward, so it's causing you to be more combative. Please don't get caught up in that energy. It's counterproductive energy, and in the end, more opportunities will happen for you if you just allow this analytical, spiritual process to progress forward. Jupiter, Mars, and Venus are all going to be in Virgo, and for you, this is in your second house. So so I want you to really understand, for a while, until about the 8th, well, okay, until between the 8th and the 12th, you're going to be experiencing a little bit of mental trial. There are some strides that you're making, but I think, and this is ego-based, right? This is emotion-based and ego-based, and I think this is heart-based, definitely. But the sweeter spot lies, the bigger the outcome that you desire is going to be in introspection. It's not going to be in the significant ego that you want to generate. Look, the problem with Leos is, and I know this because I am one, I'm a Leo on the cusp of Cancer, and I like to say that always. I know most of you understand that, but there are some people that still are confused by that. And I have about 5 planets in Leo, so I tend to be ego-oriented. It makes me combative. It makes me act out when I feel like my ego is questioned, and it makes me almost a little bit self-indulgent. And but there's a higher purpose in this month. There was a higher purpose to all of those beautiful and glorious eclipses that happened. When we are in eclipse season, it wants us to eclipse out old mindsets, old issues, old past enslaving ideas. And for many, for Leos, that had to do a lot in our ego. And how we come across, how we sell ourselves, how we communicate effectively was questioned, and we were pulled back into taking a look at everything as a whole, how we want to move forward, how we want our life to proceed. That was all about, we reevaluated all of that. So I guess for some of us, we're still relying a little bit more on ego than we should, and a little bit less on the introspective qualities that came out during that glorious event. So if you want to achieve some balance, and if you want to get emotional fulfillment, then I think weighing out ego versus outcome, weighing out a slow, steady process, having the tolerance for new, completely different ideas to come into your life about how you're going to proceed forward, having ego versus spirituality, faith, emotional balance, weighing all of that out, and putting aside some of the need to be pride-based will generate some really wonderful outcomes on a slow and steady basis. These will be small victories, but inevitably they will lead to giant triumphant outcomes if we allow them. But that involves a lot of mature thought processes, and it involves humility, and it involves setting aside ego, and that can be very, very hard for you. So when Jupiter, Mars, and Venus all go into Virgo, Virgo is a conservative energy, and when it goes into this specific energy, I really want you guys to appreciate and value yourself enough to value the process, and value the awakening, value the enlightenment, value the fact that there's a higher purpose for you, and that faith will show you the way, and that if you have the patience, and if you have the overall perspective, like if you could look at everything on a bigger perspective than just meeting your superficial needs, there is something to be, I think, achieved that will provide you a more sustainable outcome than you could possibly understand. And I'm talking about monetarily, but I'm also talking about energetically. Again, on the 8th, that's when Venus goes into Virgo. So between the 8th and the 12th, we're going to be experiencing a bit of a transition in energy. Again, you're going to want to be combative because Mercury is in retrograde. And so it's making people question your thought process and the way that you communicate. Please listen to me and don't get combative when it comes to energy, because the knowledge that you've received, the introspective, the higher purpose that you understand for you and how you want to develop as a leader cannot be understood when Mercury is in retrograde. And so wait until after the 12th. Mercury does go direct in Libra in your 3rd house on the 9th, but I like to give it a couple days to speed up and get, maximum capacity. It's kind of like when we wake up in the morning. For a few hours, we need to have our cup of coffee, we need to work out, we need to get to work, and we need to stimulate ourselves with music. And by the time we get to work, about an hour or two later, we're on, right? So that's kind of that same type of mindset. So for you, don't have deep conversations. Don't be reflective. Don't let people in. Don't let people understand your higher purpose. Don't talk about your triumphant, enlightening experiences that happen during the full moon or during the lunar eclipse or during the solar eclipse, because you're not going to communicate effectively and there's no sense in it. Let's just wait till the time is optimum for you to really stimulate the world with your new knowledge. And then on the 12th, the new moon in Libra is going to be in your 3rd house. So Libra is partnership energy. It's unions, it's business partnerships, and it's going to be in the 3rd house. So on the new moon, this is about new beginnings, setting forth a new perspective. It's about allowing your ego to be enlightened enough, to be confident enough to let people know your new purpose, your new faith, your new direction, your new outlook. You are to be motivating, to be somebody that shows people the way and how to be triumphant even at the state of vulnerability. And I mean, you have a lot to say and you have a lot to do, and the new beginning that's going to happen this month is all about communicating effectively about how you think and process, but about what you've learned from this stimulating new process. On the 17th, we have Mars aligns with Jupiter. This is going to be in your 2nd house. And for you, this is going to be in 14 degrees. So Mars aligned with Jupiter. Mars, the planet of passion, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, right, is going to be in your 2nd house. I see that if you tap into the introspection and the spiritual lessons that you've learned, the awakening that you've had, and you tie your ego into those things. Don't tie your ego into being combative and forcing people to see your perspective. If you can have some balance in the fact that you've received this enlightenment, you've received this awakening, you have enough passion and emotion to back up this new thought process, and there's triumphant to be found for all, triumphant feelings to be found for all, and you want to motivate people to do that. I think confidence is going to be appreciated, but ego-based reactions are not. So don't go out there all Leo, all full-blown Leo. I would go out there with the softer side of Leo and let them know that, you've made significant gains in how you value others, how you value what you do, how you value your place in the world, how you value others receiving the new you. Like, this is all about showing others how to treat yourself, right? If you value yourself enough, then people will value you at the equivalent that you value yourself. So there's a lot of new beginnings for you to embark upon, but it is a process, and remove your ego. Don't be combative about it. Don't be disrespectful that others don't see your point of view. Allow them to be awakened by these small, triumphant endeavors that you do, and these little leaps that you do in social status and recognition. Then on the 27th, we have a full moon in Taurus in your 10th house, and this is a big deal. Okay, Taurus is the house, or the energetic house of possessions, of values, of how you achieve what you, or how you get what you want by the achievements that you've done. It's the payoffs from that, right? But it's also the emotional payoffs. It's also the recognition. It's also the fact that people value the input that you have. And so for many of you, if you're on the right track, then this is about emotionally giving back to others what you want to. This is about feeding your ego a little bit because people are starting to value you. This is about motivating and providing some spiritual awakening to others that maybe didn't have quite the awakening that you had. This is about communicating effectively and elevating your communication style for you to get the recognition that you deserve. And this is about illuminating a side of you that people haven't seen. This is about the deeper side of you. This is about the introspective side of you that I don't think you let a lot of people in on, because you're so busy trying to be an ego-based energy that I think vulnerability is highly valued in this. And this is about a new thought process. This is about elevating your ability to retain information, but also to communicate it effectively. This is a really good month, I think, for the most part. I mean, I think we always have challenging days in these months, and I go over them in my dailies, but for the most part, I think, I see a lot of energy turning around for you as long as you don't try to force your opinion down other people's throats, and if you don't make them see your perspective, don't get caught up in that. Just everybody has their own process, and if they don't see where you're at, they will. If you just walk the talk, if you just show them that you did have an awakening and that you were elevated, and oh, by the way, I can help you get where I am, and remove your emotion and remove your need to have that payoff. The emotional fulfillment should come from them valuing your new perspective. Thank you guys so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again next month.